personal fireworks show, Scott following close behind. We have two new storyboard artists this time, Dave Rodriguez and Burt Ring. Rodriguez's career began with storyboard work on Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling and character design work for Dennis the Menace, which then begat character design work for Season 2 of The Real Ghostbusters. The biggest spot on his resume comes from storyboarding episodes for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, working on Seasons 2, 3, and 4. Also, he worked on Shock Zone. I know this technically happened after Danger Rangers, but he still worked on Shock Zone.
I mean, cartoons were still a little retro back in the early 2000s. I did not know that. I mean, watching Danger Rangers just looks like watching some of Disney and Warner Brothers' 90s cartoons.
Burt Ring came from the Disney TVA wheelhouse, storyboarding for Little Mermaid, Darkwing Duck, Bonkers, and Aladdin. He would jump ship to Nickelodeon in the mid-90s, working on Rocko's Modern Life, Hey Arnold, and Rugrats. The strangest thing about Ring's body of work is the fact that he directed a surprising number of Christmas TV specials, including Christmas in Oz, Who Stole Santa, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, Oh Christmas Tree, and the cult classic The Tangerine Bear. It's kind of fitting I'm doing this in December, isn't it? It's the season, I guess. After the non-existent commercial break, the fire...
Why didn't you also describe Maggie and the Ferocious Beast and Marvin the Tap Dancing Horse? I mean, that was the same creator who made Tangerine Bear.
Fighters all returned from the false alarm call, with the fire chief, Chief Daniels, personally meeting Sully and Kitty after hearing about what happened in their absence.
How was your call, Chief?
Not good.
What happened?
It was a false alarm.
Upon learning that the 911 call was bogus, a kid's question about it leads into our first number for the episode, False Alarms.
May I please have your attention, because there's something I should mention.
Well, I mean, even watching Danger Rangers making musical numbers, I mean, it's like Schoolhouse Rock. I mean, sometimes PBS kids like to make their shows educational, but in a musical way. I mean, Disney's not the only one.
And it has to do with calling 911.
False Alarms already has two things going against it for me. It's a song done almost entirely in speak singing by Sully, which contextually is appropriate since he was the one that led into the number. I'm personally not the biggest fan of Sprech Gesang, and this sort of genre is already somewhat controversial to begin with. I do not care that someone stole your car radio and now you just sit in silence. Just open up Spotify on your phone and boot up a playlist like a normal person. The other thing that's causing me to dock points is the reappearance of Rusty, Snarf, and Chili Dog from Wild Wheels. As hinted at previously in that episode's video, this is the only other time we see these characters, and they're relegated to a music video, being the ones calling in the false alarm. Such wasted potential. Now don't get me wrong, False Alarms is still well written, but something tells me this would have been better if Rob Paulson was singing instead of Jerry Hauser.
I mean, Jerry, he has a really good voice to sing. I mean, come on, I mean, you've seen Rob Paulson sing so many songs in Animaniacs, and a bit of Jimmy Neutron when Carl had some good vocals. But come on, I mean, Jerry can have some opportunities to sing solo. Even Kevin Michael Richardson, and I know Grey Delisle, because one time when she voiced Daphne Blake, she really did good on that song Daphne was singing. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Jerry. Please don't be mad at me.
False alarms are not okay.
With Sabo now on the lookout for any potential follow-up false alarm calls, we return to Derek and Scott, who are hiding in an alley. Scott suggests the two of them return the fireworks to the fire department, hoping for some kind of reward in the process, but Derek wants no part of it, still wanting to go through with their own personal fireworks show. Eager to get things started, Derek pulls out some matches.
Where'd you get matches? Big brother's room. Don't worry, there's nothing to this. Ouch!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, don't ever use matches, kids. They're not toys. And if you ever try to use matches that are like a booklet, make sure to keep the cap closed. Yeah.
Well, Derek, you got that fireworks display you wanted. Because in about 5 seconds, you're gonna get that one fireworks show in San Diego. You know the one.
Yeah, but why would you want to light fireworks in the middle of an ally? Shouldn't you just shouldn't you just light them somewhere in an open space like a field so you won't cause a fire hazard? I mean, you can never use fireworks, only adult supervision.
The two delinquents hide in one of the apartment buildings, thinking they're safe. But some of the fireworks break through the window and set the lobby ablaze. Derek and Scott have nowhere to go but up. A stray firework barely misses Derek and hits a curtain, setting it on fire. Not knowing how to properly put it out, Scott attempts to whack it out with a broom, but that only makes the situation worse. Derek makes another 911 call as we cut back to the pier. Sabo alerts Kitty and Sully that the cell phone used to make the false alarm earlier in the day is making another 911 call, listing the address he's calling about. When Sully asks Sabo to pinpoint the call's location, it's coming from the same address. Chief Daniels confirms that dozens more calls are coming from that same address, meaning this is the real deal. Our duo tag along as we fade to yet another non-existent commercial break. Back at the
Yeah, I know. I mean, PBS kids don't have commercials. I mean, we all know Cyber Chase does that. Yeah, I mean, they can only do sometimes a little funding and showing us a little bit of ads.
apartments, fire personnel are already hard at work attempting to put the fire out and getting tenants to safety. When Sully and Kitty arrive, Sabo discovers that the caller is still inside the building. With the rest of the firefighters preoccupied, the two rangers suit up and head inside, Sully activating some little spider drones so the rest of the rangers can provide backup. The rangers get to work evacuating the rest of the tenants out.
Remain calm, everyone. Excellent and orderly fashion. Do you all have a family escape plan?
Sometimes Bert's voice sounds a bit funny.
Yep, that's the closest exit to my apartment.
Well, at least they managed to save Poodle number 3.
That's a mistake, some guy.
Huh?
Never stop to take things with you when there's a fire burning. Get out as fast as you can.
But I don't want my toys to burn up.
Toys can be replaced. You can't.
Verbal, I love you, and you're right, and again, I love you. But some of these things are just too damn expensive to replace.
Well, I mean, what's more important, your possessions or your life?
Sully and Kitty eventually reach the apartment where Derek and Scott are in, who are currently foolishly hiding in a closet.
Hiding in here is one of the worst things you guys could do in a fire.
What do you mean it? It was an accident. We were just playing and the fireworks exploded.
All right. Let's get you out of here.
Then we'll talk about it.
Once the two are out of the building, Chief Daniels shows them the burnt remains of the fireworks. Scott admits they found the fireworks at the pier, which already puts them in serious trouble. But then Sully and Sabo confirm that Derek's cell phone was the exact phone used for the false alarm earlier that afternoon.
It aren't exactly the same voice in both recordings. I'm afraid Derek is the one who called in this morning's false alarm. What you boys have done is against the law and very, very dangerous.
Are we gonna go to jail?
That's up to the judge.
Because the two are minors, have no previous criminal records, and now know their actions were wrong, the judge lets them off somewhat easily, only sentencing them to 6 months of community service. And now it's time to play What the fuck are the Danger Rangers wearing in this scene?
What do you mean? I mean, they're just wearing some sort of white jumpsuits. I mean, how else would they look nice in the courtroom? Well, when I look at them, they just look like some sort of squads from the 90s.
The top half looks like a mad scientist coat with a way too long neck collar. Why does it only extend down to just below their shoulders? Why the orange sashes? These are meant to be informer clothes, but why are they still barefoot? Everyone else in this courtroom is wearing shoes. Why can't they? Also, why are Burble and Kitty's tails sticking out of both of their pants and bottom part of their coats?
Well, I mean, how else were their tails supposed to stick out? I mean, it wouldn't be comfortable for their tails to be inside their clothes. I mean, look at Daniel. He doesn't even wear any pants. And he has his tail out. Even if he did wear pants, he would have a hole in his own pants for his tail to stick out.
Do they have two individual tail holes? Why can't they just...
Okay, enough cussing. Less arguing, more reviewing.
As everyone leaves the courthouse, our pair of delinquents have one final stop at the request of their parents, the fire station, so they can personally apologize to Chief Daniels for everything that happened.
Oh, come in, boys. What's on your minds?
Well, you see, it's like this. We came to apologize to you, sir. We know that we did some really stupid things.
Yeah, like calling in that false alarm and making all those firefighters race off like that?
When there was no real emergency.
And when someone else could have been in trouble.
With the apology given, their community service work can begin by cleaning up the fire trucks and recently used firefighting equipment.
Now that's what I call good looking.
You mean our spotless cleaning job, Ranger Sully?
Well, sure. And my reflection.
I mean, none of you guys are gonna react to this part when he flirts himself in his reflection.
You know
I mean, Roxanne Wolf does that in the beginning of the game.
what we do in the firehouse if one of our firefighters gets a big head?
Do tell, Chief. Do tell.
We shrink it.
We close out the episode proper with Sully getting blasted with a fire hose and somehow not getting hurt in the process, which leads to a good old-fashioned water fight, likely ruining everyone's clothes in the process.
I mean, come on. Who doesn't like to have fun with the water and the sun?
Our epilogue this time around takes place an unspecified amount of time later, with a recap of the typical fire safety bullet points presented as a sort of class led by Squeaky.
What's wrong with this picture, guys?
Those garbage cans are blocking that fire exit.
Right. You should always make sure fire exits are clear.
And you and your family should have a family fire escape plan all worked out in case of a real emergency.
After some more Fallbot antics, we get our final musical number for the episode, Never Mess Around with Fire. Rogel, you really need to step your game up on naming these songs.
Yeah? I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, it's a song.
You sound asleep. There's a beat on the wall. You hear the smoke alarm go off.
This song is easily the better song of the two. Never Mess Around with Fire is a duet between Kevin and Gray that enacts the story of a kid, in this case Derek, waking up to discover his house is on fire, leading him to alerting his
Seeing
parents,
ghost
getting
smoke.
them all out safely, and becoming more aware of their surroundings to make sure a fire like that never happens again. All set to some swinging big band music.
Yeah.
Away and never play with matches.
Don't stick your hand into the fireplace or stove. Don't touch those candles in the hall.
Play with magic, flame it all.
It's true, don't you ever mess around with fire.
Tell the kids.
The background kind of makes me think of Dr.
Easily in my
Seuss
top 5 for
illustrations.
sure. With Derek and Scott now using their experiences as a warning to other kids, they're given safety seals of approval as we end the episode. You might have noticed almost immediately that there wasn't exactly a villain per se in this episode. Derek and Scott
I mean, not any kid show's supposed to have a villain. I mean, Blue's Clues never had any antagonists besides Dora. She had several enemies in her series, even her movie. I mean, just because some people can be a little troublemaking, but they can also redeem themselves in a way, not just defeats.
Scott were definitely on the antagonistic side of things at first, but they weren't outwardly malicious and didn't intentionally mean to harm anyone. They're just being dumb preteens who don't realize how serious faking an emergency is. And you can guarantee their near death experience with those fireworks are easily going to haunt them for many years to come. A fire safety episode like this doesn't really need a villain. It's better for kids to see Derek and Scott as kids they might know in real life who need to learn that fireworks are not toys.
Exactly. If you want to if you want to use fireworks, make sure to have adult supervision. Never as a child use them by yourself. Cause it's dangerous. Need to know safety rules. Safety first, y'all. Safety first.
This is exactly why aerial fireworks are flat out banned in some states. Because if they fall into the hands of someone without any experience in lighting them, well, someone could easily lose their life. Where this episode falters, however, is in the ending. Derek and Scott only end up with 6 months of community service at a fire station, which is a borderline slap on the wrist, considering they, in order, called in a false alarm 911 call, stole fireworks meant for a public event, lit them, accidentally mind you, and inadvertently set an apartment building on fire with them. The episode just kind of glosses over the fact that a lot of tenants most likely lost a lot of personal belongings in this fire, either by the fire itself or from water damage via the fire hoses. It's likely going to take hundreds of thousands of dollars to renovate the apartment from top to bottom, which is going to displace all of these people for quite some time. So, as a little thought experiment, let's see how Derek and Scott should have been charged. For starters, calling in a false alarm in the city of Chicago will result in a fee of around $500 to $1,000. Given they're minors with no past records, let's be generous and slap them with a flat $500 fee. Since the two are minors, Chicago law dictates that the legal parent or guardian has to pay the fine themselves. Since this was all Derek's doing, only his parents have to pay the fee. But let's be perfectly honest here, that fee is coming directly out of his allowance. For stealing fireworks, ownership of fireworks like bottle rockets and Roman candles are illegal in the state of Illinois. The punishment depends on how expensive the fireworks are. For a minor, if the value of the stolen goods are less than $300, it's considered a Class A misdemeanor, with possible punishments including 1 year in prison, fines of up to $2,500, and up to 2 years of probation. If it's more than $300, Derek and Scott are looking at up to 3 years in prison, up to $25,000 in fines, and 30 months probation at max. Under normal circumstances, prices of commercially sold Roman candles vary considerably. I count 12 Roman candles here. On the one hand, these Roman candles do not look like something that you can commercially buy, so they're going to be relatively pricey. On the other hand, as seen from this truck, this box of fireworks was only part of the act that was going to be used for the event. And considering full sets of fireworks shows are very expensive, this is only a small fraction of that cost. So when you adjust for inflation, you're looking at about $250 worth of fireworks. So that's 1 year in jail, a $2,500 fee, and again, being first-time offenders, 6 months of probation for the both of them. As for setting the apartment on fire, this is where the show kinda gets things right to an extent. Accidental arson cases in Chicago are on a case-by-case basis, depending on a number of factors, like the severity of the fire, circumstances that led to the fire, lack of intent, and age of the accused. This works pretty favorably in Derek and Scott's case. The intent was to shoot them off one by one, not all at once. The only reason they went off at once was by complete accident, and the apartment only appeared to be damaged from the inside. If the two are lucky, they might have their sentence be dropped to reckless damage to property instead of outright accidental arson. Punishments in this realm would include things like juvenile detention, counseling, or community service.
Well, they didn't get those two punishments, just community service. I mean, even though as a kid, they can only get punished with those three qualities.
Let's be nice and say Chief Daniels puts in a good word and we follow the same route the episode took, having the two undergo community service under his watchful eye at the fire station. Let's also be generous and have the sentence be the same 6 months. So, altogether, for the act of calling in a false 911 call, a Class A misdemeanor charge for the theft of fireworks, and accidental arson, Scott gets 1 year in jail, 6 months of community service, 6 months of probation, $2,500 in fees, and what the heck, a month of counseling.
But that wouldn't happen since he's a kid. I mean, kids can't pay that stuff and get that kind of punishment. Only their adults have to pay, and they can only go to juvenile detention for that punishment.
And Derek gets 1 year in jail, 6 months of community service, 6 months of probation, $3,000 in fees, and 2 months of counseling.
Same thing for Scott.
Most of my legal knowledge comes from Law and Order. I am not a real lawyer, and most of this research came from Google. Court dismissed. Next time, Randy Rogel and Mike Moore himself take a shot at writing an episode. How well will it stack up compared to the show's usual writer?
Well, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, comments below, and subscribe. See ya.